कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी बैक टू यू
Haribol, very nice, Mataji. This sets the mood, the right mood, the best mood for studying Bhagavad Gita. Haribol. So, devotees, we shall now recite the auspicious Mangala Charan. I'm seeing, let us see who's all here. I see Dara Mataji is here. Our Vasant Prabhu is here. Who wants to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, very well. Except
can
more
read it.
devotee association. But other than that, I'm doing well, yeah.
Oh, that's even better. Okay.
You want to recite, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Haribol, very nice, Mataji. So, devotees, we are on chapter we just completed on Friday the universal form. In all aspects, chapter 11 is quite important. Not so much for the devotees, because the devotees by this time is already convinced that Krishna is everything. He has said in many, from the beginning, he has been saying that we are part and parcel, we are eternal, part and parcel of Krishna. So by chapter 10 itself, in fact, many acharyas have said that 934, Manmana Bhavam Adbhakto, that is conclusion for the bhakti. A devotee by then, he is very much convinced that Krishna is everything. So experiencing the universal form is definitely an added kind of what you call a son trying to understand his father opulences. That is also a very good experience. But he's already convinced about his father. So that is not for devotees, that because of Vishwarupa, a devotee is convinced that Krishna is supreme. He's already convinced. But it is very much needed also for various purposes, analytically, authoritatively, that it's not that anybody can become Bhagavan. In the Kali Yuga, we are seeing that there are so many people, personalities claiming they are God and everything. But this is a small glimpse that everyone cannot be God. You have to be the controller, you have to be the creator, maintainer, controller. Everything you should be able to do it. Then you can even come close to the definition of the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, right? So now after going through all this thing, Arjuna is still very much completely in a shocking mood, I think. He's trembling actually, like in chapter 1, 2, he was confused. He's slightly confused. And he's asking about a very important question. Krishna, you have shown me so many things. In chapter 10, he has explained. And in chapter 11, he has displayed it, all those explanations. So now he is asking, what shall I do? So his question is that, what is a better method? By just accepting you and worship you, or by through the meditative process on the Brahman, which is an impersonal process. So this is a very important chapter again, 12. I consider that anybody who would ask that why cannot we just concentrate on the Brahman, you can, as we would see in 12, 3, 4, 5, Krishna would say that you can also achieve Krishna by impersonal formation. But he would say in 12.2 that the best way, the most efficient, is just surrendering to Krishna in his personal form, in the Shama Sundara form. Very beautiful verses, devotees. Let us read this. It's a long purport for 12.1. Hopefully we can cover 1 and 2 today, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I'm seeing our Vasant Prabhu. So, Prabhu, would you like to recite if you're in a position to read?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I am in a public place right now.
Okay.
But
No.
thank you so much. Thank you. I apologize.
Sure, Prabhu. Okay. Devotees, who can...
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And shall I read Prabhuji?
Yeah, I think one of the audio is on. Can we see how somebody's audio is on? But
Hare Krishna.
okay, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. 12th chapter, number 1, shloka. Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktya Swam Paryupasate Ye Chapyakshara Mavyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittama. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Very nice, Prabhu. Next, who can read, devotees?
I can try, Prabhuji.
Please.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yukta Je Bhaktastang Purjupashate Ya Chapokharama Bhaktang Teshanke Ugo Vittama. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhu. Haribol. One more, devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I
I
think
can.
Baswati Mataji wanted to read Prabhuji.
Okay.
Okay,
Mataji,
sure.
oh yeah. Raghu Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yeah.
Arjuna Vacha Evam Sadata Yukta Ye Bhakta Tvam Paru Paryupasate Ye Chapi Aksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittam Maha.
Very nice, Prabhu. Devotees, who can read synonym and translation? The purport is quite long. We can all have an opportunity to read a little bit.
I can read Prabhuji if anyone is not
Please,
available.
please go ahead, Mataji.
Synonyms and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, Evam, thus, Satata, always, Uktaha, engaged, ye, those who, Bhakta, devotees, Tyam, you, Paryupasate, properly worship, ye, those who, cha, also, api, again, aksharam, beyond the senses, abhyaktam, the unmanifested, tesham, of them, ke, who, yog vittamaha, the most perfect in knowledge of yoga. Translation. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Back to
Very,
Prabhuji.
very nice, Mataji. Devotees, let us start reading this. Many of us will have an opportunity to read. Subal Prabhuji, I believe iPhone C is the Chalini Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, why don't you begin, Mataji, then Subal Prabhu and others can take.
Sure, Prabhuji. Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal, and the universal, and has described all kinds of devotees and yogis. Generally, the transcendentalists can be divided into two classes. One is the impersonalist and the other is the personalist. The personalist devotee engages himself with all energy in the service of the Supreme Lord. The impersonalist also engages himself not directly in the service of Krishna, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. We find in this chapter that of the different processes for realization of the absolute truth, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the highest. If one at all desires to have the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he must take to devotional service. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Haribol, let us see if anyone else would like to read.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Subal Prabhuji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees and all Krishna Sri Prabhupada. Those who worship the Supreme Lord directly by devotional service are called personalists. Those who engage themselves in meditation of the impersonal Brahman are called impersonalists. Arjuna here questioning which position is better. There are different ways to realize the absolute truth, but Krishna indicates in this chapter that Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to him is the highest of all. It is the most direct and the easiest means of association with the Godhead. In the second chapter, yeah.
Go ahead,
Prabhupada. Okay. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord explained that a living entity is not the material body. He is a spiritual spark, and the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. In the seventh chapter, he spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the Supreme Whole and recommended that he transfer his attention fully to the whole. Then again, in the eighth chapter, it was said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body is at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. And at the end of the sixth chapter, the Lord clearly said that of all yogis, one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. So in practically, In every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna, for that is the highest spiritual realization. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol Prabhuji, very nice. Let us see who can read now. The next devotees, if you have not read, please. I'm not able to see all the name.
I can continue if you like.
Please, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Ravi. Nevertheless, there are those who are not attached to the personal form of Krishna. They are so firmly detached that even in the preparation of commentaries to the Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract other people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. They prefer to meditate on the impersonal form of the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of the senses and is not manifest. And so factually, there are two classes of transcendentalists. Now Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. In other words, he's clarifying his own position because he's attached to the personal form of Krishna. He is not attached to the impersonal Brahman. He wants to know whether his position is secure. The impersonal manifestation, either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord, is a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such a waste of time? Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is best because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time, and there was no disturbance to his love for Krishna. This important question asked of Krishna by Arjuna will clarify the distinction between the impersonal and the personal conceptions of the absolute truth. Okay.
Very nice, Prabhu. You want to a little bit expand, Prabhu? Already it's a very nice purport by Prabhupada, but if you want to add more, Prabhu.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this purport explains everything quite well, as you said. Arjuna is, he's not sure whether he has a doubt, but he himself is a personalist, and but he also knows there are people who are impersonalists, and he's doing it more for the welfare of people uh, who are impersonalists in a way, and he's also trying to secure his own position. So he's posing this question uh, to Krishna uh, to clarify and explain the difference between the two and which is the preferred path. The whether one should worship Krishna directly or go through the or do the impersonal Brahma. Uh, and Prabhupada is in the here he has explained that how in various chapters we have seen repeatedly that bhakti yoga, that the personal form, that is what it's all about. Because it starts with the uh, uh, Paramatma, the spark in the body, in the soul, the soul. Then it uh, uh, yeah. Then it talks about uh, how we are a part and parcel of the supreme, and uh, uh, and also we have seen where it differentiates between uh, different types of yogas, the Ashtanga yoga, Jnana yoga, and then we read about the Bhakti yoga, and then how it was described already as Bhakti yoga being the ultimate. So we have seen this repeatedly, and he's posing the question, but uh, uh, it's also trying to uh, uh, tell us that the impersonal Brahman could also be a way. For some people, it may be a way, but it may not be the direct way because it's going to take longer to get back to the personal form. So, yeah. Those are some of the things, thoughts.
Very nice.
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Very well explained, Prabhuji. Bhashwati Mataji, Shalini Mataji, any thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think Ravi Prabhuji has explained this very well. Essentially, in the first part that I read, um, Prabhupada was explaining the same thing, that the impersonal form is not the direct way of associating with Krishna. The direct way is devotional service to the personal form of Krishna. I think that was the gist, and through Bhakti Yoga, that really is the easiest way to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mm, I think I understood this much, Prabhuji. If you can explain more. Hare Krishna.
Very, very nice, Mataji. Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments, thoughts? I see Shuroma Mataji is here. If you have any thoughts, comments, Mataji, you can. Bhashwati Mataji, Subal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. So here Prabhupada in this purport, as Mataji and Prabhuji explained so nicely, that Arjuna is asking about which one is the best, whether the devotional service is the best or worshipping the impersonal Brahman unmanifest is the it should be considered. So here Prabhupada in this purport, Prabhupada is giving a small gist of different chapters, how the Supreme Lord explained about impersonal and personal form and what's the difference between the two. So here we know that impersonal Brahman form is Krishna's partial of the absolute truth. So partial form of this absolute truth, it's not complete, it's a Brahma Jyoti. And so if a devotee wants to build a relationship with the Supreme Lord, he cannot build relationship with the Brahma Jyoti. It's a spark of light, and it will go, the devotee has to merge to that impersonal form. Whereas for the Supreme Lord, personal form of Krishna, a devotee can build a relationship through service, and more specifically with Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. And with that service, a devotee will be able to build relationship, which is very important. Build relationship with acharyas, with gurus, sadhus, and shastra, and through that, with the build relationship with the Lord. So that's my relation. That's my understanding. Prabhuji, please explain more. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Mataji. Yeah. Devotees, now we know that one thing though, the Brahman and Bhagavan and Paramatma, these three elements are not separate. They cannot be separated. So we should understand that the Brahman by itself, it doesn't have, like for example, there is a sportsman. To my mind, I haven't watched sports for a very long time, but for example, somebody like Michael Jordan, his skills, basketball, were phenomenal. He's considered as an iconic sports person. So you really cannot differentiate Michael Jordan from his skill. And it might be a very mundane example, or somebody who sings very well. Our Bhashwati Mataji sings Kirtan very nicely. You cannot separate just Bhashwati Mataji separate from our voice. We are one and together. Even though somebody might just listen to our voice, but same thing here, Krishna and Krishna's energy, they are the same. However, Krishna in his personal form, as Krishna would himself explain in the following verses, it is very difficult to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman. I think in 4 or verse number 4 or 5, he would say that ultimately people who transcendentalists who meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, they also reach Krishna. Eventually, everybody will reach Krishna at some point of time. But the question, it is like you want to graduate sooner, or you want to just, sometimes we see that some students, they struggle through their school days, especially in India. In the Western education system, there is nothing called fail. Everybody is a pass at some point. They'll give A, B, C, and D. But in India, there used to be at least, there used to be pass and fail. And sometimes we would find the student who had been in the previous second, he's still there in grade 6 or 7. So it takes time if you do not understand how, because our time is very limited, especially in Kali Yuga. But the best advantage of Kali Yuga is that we can also reach Krishna in a much efficient way. That is what is Bhakti Yoga. That's why Krishna is saying, yes, you can do many things. Still, you can be a good human being. You can be a very kind-hearted person. You can be a very helpful person, help all the community, society. You can build hospitals. Everything is good. But the best thing is that if you do this Bhakti Yoga process, you're going to take care of everything. By surrendering to Krishna, we understand Krishna completely, Shama Sundara. We understand all his energies and opulences and all his qualities also. So that is an advantage. But if you're going to worship, meditate only upon the impersonal, you will completely miss the nectar of Krishna. The beautiful, the relationship that the devotee shares with the Lord, that will be completely gone. It will be a very dry experience. And Krishna would say again that sometimes it may not be successful also, because you don't know what is this impersonal. Here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that it is very difficult to define the impersonal because it is limitless. How much can you meditate? What will you meditate upon? You can say everything, but Krishna is even beyond everything, right? So with our material sense, how much can we meditate upon what? We know only very limited. We can meditate upon the sky, we can meditate upon the mountain, we can meditate upon the river, but it's very difficult. So we may lose our path. So Krishna, being a very, merciful father, is saying that the best thing is to understand him as Shama Sundara, which he will explain in the next verse. Devotees, if it is okay, shall we move on to the next verse where Krishna is going to say what is the best way to understand whatever he displayed in chapter 11, how to worship him.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Okay. So why not we read this, devotees? This is very important. And devotees, we can also use this particular verse as a good solid understanding that why Krishna we should understand and surrender to him in his personal form. Because Krishna himself is saying that this is the best way. 12:2. Let's read the devotee.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can try. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Veshamano Imam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetas Te Me Yukta Tamamataha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol Prabhu. Two more devotees. I'm seeing Shuruma Mataji is here. Would you like to recite, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. There is a lot of noise in the background, so sorry about that.
No problem. Your voice is clear now.
Oh. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Vishamano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetas Te Me Yukta Tamamataha.
Very nice,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
I'm seeing our Karthik Prabhu is here. Is it Karthik Prabhu or Ravina Mataji? Would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It's me, Prabhu. Sorry. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshamano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate श्रद्धया परयोपेतास् ते मे युक्ततमा मता.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very good. Devotees, shall we take one, or we did three, right? Okay. So why not one of us read the synonym and translation? Dara Mataji, you want to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, thank you. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Mai, upon me, aveshya, fixing, manaha, the mind, ye, those who, mam, me, nitya, always, yuktaha, engaged, upasate, worship, shraddhaya, with faith, paraya, transcendental, upattaha, endowed, te, me, by me, yukta tamaha, most perfect in yoga, mataha, are considered. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Devotees, who can read the purport? Maybe our Baldev Sir Prabhu, would you like to?
Sure, Prabhuji. Our Shri Buddha Pranam, all Guru Shri Prabhupada, purport by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Shri Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Joy. In answer to Arjun's questions, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one, in such Krishna consciousness, there are no material activities because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks prasadam or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi. Back to Prabhuji.
Very good, Prabhu. Prabhu, would you like to add more?
Yeah, Prabhuji, in ninth chapter, we already read that Shushoham Kortum Abboham. Ninth chapter is the devotional service, we know, and out of the devotion, Bhakti Yoga, which is 7 to 12 chapter, the ninth chapter is the essence of the Gita. So Krishna already declared Shushukam Kurtum Abham. And he also, Krishna said in the 5th verses that it will be very hard to worship in a in-person form. Odikoto Klesham. So, and Prabhupada had clearly mentioned the devotee, also we read in other parts, from one day devotee starts devotional service in attachment with the Krishna. And pure devotee like Prabhupada or our acharyas and our Guru Maharaj, senior devotees, they don't pass a single moment without devoting his activities to Krishna. They are all in full samadhi. Even the neophyte, day one, or a little child starts serving Krishna, offering flowers, fruits. So they directly get started in the day one. That takes, in the other way, in person form, many, many years to reach that stage. Back to Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Very nice, Prabhuji. Very well explained. That's true. Krishna here is saying, Nitya Yukta Upasate. Very important. Nitya, not just random. Sometimes, people like me, aspiring devotees, we take Krishna consciousness in a very easy, casual manner. We should not definitely take it in a casual manner. Now, devotional surrendering has got many layers. What Srila Prabhupada did, we are nowhere even close to that. What our Guru Maharaj did, we are nowhere near to that. What some of the senior devotees are doing, have done, we are nowhere close to that. But that doesn't mean we are inferior. We are all trying. That is what Krishna wants. Like the Lord Ramchandra episode in Ramayana, he accepts the squirrel and the Jambavan both equally. Doesn't matter. Squirrel is doing only so. But do what Krishna wants. We have to do our best. We may not be able to, for example, Balram Sarup Prabhuji can prepare prasadam for 1,000 devotees. We may not be able to do that, but can we try our best? If our best is, I can host a Bhakti Viksha program, I can prepare one item of the, prasadam list, that's fine. Because that is what is my best. Given our guna, we are all given with different guna. Somebody can sing, somebody can do very nice deity worship, somebody can do deity decoration, of the decorating for the festival. Everything is a seva, book distribution, everything. Kirtan. So whatever best we can do, we should do. But when we don't, the problem is, at least in my case, we are not doing our best. I'm not doing my best. That's the problem. So Krishna is saying, Nitya Yukta Upasate, all the time, always Nitya. That's the key to become perfect in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we are all people in this world, if you see, they're all devotees in the definition of a devotee. They go to temple, they do some prayers, they do mantra, they chant, they donate. It's happening all the time. But are we doing it with the sincere heart, sincere mood? All the time. We can. Acharya said, Srila Prabhupada hardly used to sleep for 2-3 hours. One time, his personal assistant, he came. 1 or 2 times, he said that, Prabhupada, are you doing okay? Then Prabhupada got a little frustrated. He said that, do not disturb me. Krishna is instructing me to write all this translation and purport. When you come and ask me, I know you are asking in a very, good intention. But right now, I'm not writing this. Krishna is instructing me. That was his mood. Srila Prabhupada used to read his own purport and translation. And devotees did not understand. It is only, Prabhupada, you only wrote this. He said that I did not write this. Krishna instructed me to write this. It's not possible for me to write synonym, translation, purport, not only for Bhagavad Gita, for most part of the Bhagavatam also, and so many other scriptures. So that's the mood, how Srila Prabhupada, in our, at least, understanding, is a perfect, great example for how you can do Nitya Yukta Upasana. All the time thinking about Krishna. It's possible. So devotees, any more thoughts? Kartik Prabhu, Sibul Prabhu, Vashwati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then is Prabhuji wonderful explanation. Thank you, Prabhuji. So as we can see, Prabhuji, this whole, in fact, I was thinking, Prabhuji, even though this 12th chapter is mostly about bhakti, Prabhupada has made sure that every chapter has, of course, some part of bhakti in it. Because we have seen in the previous chapter also, Krishna concluded that Bhakti Yoga or the devotional service is the topmost. And in this chapter, Arjuna will inquire about how it is about personalist and impersonalist. So those who fix their minds in the personal form are always worshipping me, desiring to associate with me, endured and great transcendental faith are considered by me. So we can easily see such a Ananya Bhakta can easily attain Lord Krishna. So even we can see that even in second chapter, Krishna explained about bhakti. Even in sixth, seventh chapter also, he said, and seventh chapter, bhakti yoga is the highest. Even though when we consider first six chapter karma yoga, but he did. So that means that how much it is important. Those who engaged in the devotional service are always perfect because they are always, remembering about me, engaged in, my worship, and they are about this personalist form and impersonalist. Personalist devotees always worship, but the impersonalist, who are actually worshipping, but in an indirect method with an impersonal Brahman. So that's why Arjuna is happy to hear all about the devotional service, how it is highest. And that's my understanding. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhuji. Yeah. Sarvesu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. All the time. If Arjuna can do that in the battlefield, I think we can do it. We are all, in a much better position. We are all in Tampa, nice weather, nice accommodation. We got a car. We don't have to fight with anybody except within us. All our ego and jealous and envy. But if we come out of that and think about Krishna, I think that's what is perfection in Krishna consciousness. So, devotees, as part of today's discussion, I thought I will also very briefly present about Ayodhya, if that is okay with all of you.
Hare
Hari bol.
I visited Prabhu, Subal Prabhuji. Can we conclude our Facebook Live now?
Okay.
The only reason